Good afternoon. This is knowledge time. Welcome, alchemists. Today I'll be reading from the book The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. Currently, I am in chapter 14, Resist the Downward Pull of the Group, the Law of Conformity, Part 3, the Individual Effect. The desire to fit in. Let us say that you enter a group as part of a new job, for instance. As you try to adjust to the environment, you become aware that people are scrutinizing and judging you as the outsider. On a nonverbal level, you feel their eyes probing you for clues. You begin to wonder, do I fit in? Have I said the right things? What do they think of me? The first and primary effect on you in any group is the desire to fit in and cement your sense of belonging. The more you fit in, the less you pose a challenge to the group and its values. Interesting. This will minimize the scrutiny you face and the anxiety that comes with it. The first way you do this is through appearances. You dress and present yourself more or less as the others do in the group. There are always a small percentage of people who like to stand out in their look but manage to conform when it comes to ideas and values. Most of us, however, are uncomfortable looking too different, and we do what we can to blend in. We adopt the clothes and looks that say the right things. I'm serious. I work hard. I may have style, but not so much of it that I stand out. The second and more important way you fit in is by adapting the ideas, beliefs, and values of the group. You may begin to use similar verbal expressions as others, a sign of what's happening below the surface. Your own ideas slowly shape themselves to those of the group. Some people may outwardly rebel against such conformity, but they are usually the types who are eventually fired or marginalized. You may hold on to a few peculiar beliefs or opinions that you largely keep to yourself, but not on issues important to the group. The longer you are in the group, the stronger and more insidious this effect. If you observe this group from the outside, you would notice an overall uniformity of thinking that is quite surprising, considering that as individuals, we all differ quite a bit from one another in temperament and background. This is a sign of the subtle molding and conformity that takes place. You might have joined a group because you shared their ideas and values, but you will find over time that the parts of your thinking that were a little different from others, reflecting your uniqueness, are slowly trimmed away, like a shrub made to match the others, so that on almost all issues you agree with the group. You are not aware of all this as it is happening to you. It occurs unconsciously. In fact, you will tend to vociferously deny such conformity has ever taken place. You will imagine that you have come upon these ideas on your own, that you have chosen to believe this and think that. You don't want to confront the social force operating on you and causing you to blend in and enhance your sense of belonging. In the long run, it is much better to confront your conformity to the group ethos, so that you can become aware of it as it happens and control the process to some degree. The need to perform. Stemming from this first effect is the second effect. In the group setting, we are always performing. It is not just that we conform in appearances and thinking, but that we exaggerate our agreement and show others that we belong. In the group, we become actors, molding what we say and do so that others accept and like us and see us as loyal team members. Our performances change depending on the size of the group and its particular makeup, bosses or colleagues or friends. We might begin with a degree of inner distance in these performances, aware, for instance, that we are being unusually obsequious around the boss. But over time, in acting the part, we begin to feel what we are showing. The inner distance melts away, and the mask we wear fuses into our personality. Instead of thinking to smile in appropriate moments, we automatically paste on the smile. As part of this performance, we minimize our flaws and display what we consider our strengths. We put on confidence. We act more altruistic. Studies have shown that we are much more likely to give money or help someone cross the road when others are looking at us. In the group, we make sure that people see we support the right causes. We post our progressive opinions promptly on social media. We also make sure others see us working hard and putting in extra hours. When we are alone, we often rehearse in our minds things we will say or do for our next performance. Do not imagine that it is better to simply be your natural self or to rebel against this. There is nothing more unnatural than curbing this need to perform, which even chimpanzees display to a high degree. If you want to seem natural, as if you are comfortable with yourself, you have to act the part. You have to train yourself to not feel nervous and to shape your appearance so that in your naturalness, you don't offend people or the group values. Those who sulk and refuse to perform end up marginalized as the group unconsciously expels such types. In any event, you should feel no shame about this need. There is nothing you can do about it anyways, since in the group we unconsciously mold our behavior to fit in. Better to be aware, to retain that inner distance, and to transform yourself into a conscious and superior actor, capable of altering your expression to fit the subgroup and impressing people with your positive qualities. Emotional contagion. When we were babies, we were highly sensitive to the moods and emotions of our mother. Her smiles elicited our own. Her anxieties made us tense. We evolved this high degree of empathy to the emotions of the mother as a survival mechanism long ago. Like all social animals, we are primed for an early age to sense and pick up the emotion of others, particularly those close to us. This is the third effect of the group on us, the contagiousness of emotions. When we are alone, we are aware of our shifting moods, but the moment we enter the group and feel the eyes of others upon us, we become aware on unconscious levels of their moods and emotion, which, if strong enough, can displace our own. In addition, among those whom we feel comfortable and sense that we belong, we are less defensive and more vulnerable to the contagious effect. Certain emotions are more contagious than others, anxiety and fear being the strongest of all. Among our ancestors, if one person sensed a danger, it was important that others feel this as well. But in our present environment, where the threats are less immediate, it is more like a low-grade anxiety that passes quickly through the group, triggered by possible or imagined dangers. Other highly contagious emotions are joy and excitement, tiredness and apathy, and intense anger and hatred. Desire is also highly contagious. If we see that others want to possess something or follow some new trend, we are easily infected with the same impulse. All of these effects have a self-fulfilling dynamic. If three people are feeling anxious, there must be a good reason for it. Now we become the fourth, and it gains a reality that others find compelling. The more people who feel it, the more others will catch it, and the more intense it becomes within us as individuals. You can observe this in yourself by looking at your own emotions in the moment and trying to decipher the effect others might have had on them. Is the fear you are feeling related to something confronting you in an immediate sense, or is it more secondhand, derived from what you have heard or sensed from others? Try to catch this as it occurs. Discern which emotions are the most contagious for you and how your emotions shift with the various groups and subgroups you pass through. Awareness of this gives you the power to control it. Hyper certainty. When we are on our own and think about our decisions and plans, we finally feel doubts. Have we chosen the right career path? Did we say the right thing to get the job? Are we adopting the best strategy? But when we are in the group, this doubting reflective mechanism is neutralized. Let us say the group has to decide on an important strategy. We feel the urgency to act. Arguing and deliberating is tiring, and where will it end? We feel the pressure to decide and get behind the decision. If we dissent, we might be marginalized or excluded, and we recoil from such possibilities. Furthermore, if everyone seems to agree that this is the right course of action, we are compelled to feel confident about the decision, and so the fourth effect on us is to make us feel more certain about what we and our colleagues are doing, which makes us all the more prone to taking risks. This is what happens in financial crazes and bubbles. If everyone is betting on the price of tulips or South Sea stock, see Chapter 6, or subprime mortgages, it must be a sure thing. Those who raise doubts are simply being too cautious. As individuals, it is hard to resist what others seem so certain about. We don't want to miss out. Furthermore, if we were among just a few who bought this stock and it failed, we would feel ridiculous and ashamed, sadly responsible for being such a sucker. But covered by thousands doing the same, we are shielded from feeling accountable. Interesting. Which increases the likelihood we will take such risks in the group setting. Interesting. If as individuals we had some plan that was clearly ridiculous, others would warn us and bring us back down to earth. But in a group, the opposite happens. Everyone seems to validate the scheme, no matter how delusional, such as invading Iraq and expecting to be greeted as liberators, and there are no outsiders to splash some cold water on us. Whenever you feel unusually certain and excited about a plan or idea, you must step back and gauge whether it is a viral group effect operating on you. If you can detach yourself for a moment from your excitement, you might notice how your thinking is used to rationalize your emotions, to confirm the certainty you want to feel. Never relinquish your ability to doubt, reflect, and consider other options. Your rationality as an individual is your only protection against the madness that can overcome a group. Tomorrow I'll be reading part 4, Group Dynamics. In conclusion, pretty much the individual effect, what I got from it, the desire to fit in. Pretty much like in a group setting, what I've learned, like you go as you pretty much, you think along the lines as the groups. You don't go any less, you don't go any more, but you stay within the group dynamics. So me knowing that being in my individualism is important and also groups are also important, I tend to bounce back and forth. Like pretty much when I feel the group is not advancing in the ways that I think, I go off to my individualism part, and I'll think of new solutions or new concepts or try to get my creativity flowing. And then when I'm in group environments, I pretty much you could get stuff done. That's a lot of power in groups. I'm learning again. I've always been in groups all my life, but pretty much my groups, I formed them with other people that were pretty much didn't have mothers and fathers. So I used to form solid groups, and I had codes that I lived by, and I still live by them, which I think that separated me from pretty much other groups because of my my philosophy on groups and pretty much on life and the code that I live by. So outro. Subscribe to the channel, comment any questions you have, like if the information was inspiring for you, and share this knowledge with other alchemists. Also, follow me on Instagram for more progressive knowledge. My Instagram, you could catch me at max_Bugatti_8008. I'm all about family first. I'm a global stock investor. I'm a filmmaker. I'm an aerospace botanist. I have a masculine confidence building program, and currently I'm out here in Cali, Colombia. Today's my last day, so I'll be flying out tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp, from Cali International Airport. So I'll be flying into Miami and then catch a flight from Miami to San Francisco. So I'll be back on the west side, 3 hours behind again. Oh, jeez. So I'll be on that regime. While you're slaying dragons, I'll be taming them.